Hi, welcome to The Outlook. My name is Rebecca, I'm your host today, and today we are talking about the anti-homosexuality bill in Uganda, which was recently sent to the president for signing. With me is a lawyer, a colleague in the profession, Counsel Mutanga. We have the pleasure of his company today, and he's going to teach us more about the bill. Thank you for joining us today, Counsel. We are so grateful for your time. Thank you for allowing to come and help the rest of the Ugandans to learn about the bill. And we hope to learn so much from you today.
Thanks for having me, Rebecca.
Yes, you're most welcome. So let's go straight to our questions. You know, the bill has brought a lot of controversies. Most people in the country are not sure whether they can even talk about it in the first place. So, you know, some people haven't even had a chance to read through it. Could you help us with the overview? What does the bill talk about?
An overview of the bill is that it provides for offences to do with homosexuality. First of all, it seeks to define homosexuality in its categories, and then it prescribes sentences for homosexuality, and then further it goes ahead to provide for associated crimes associated with homosexuality. For example, procuring and having premises on which homosexuality is being practiced. The bill goes further to discuss issues to do with conspiracy, conspiracy to commit homosexuality, and one of the main elements of the bill is also that it provides for the offense of promotion of homosexuality.
So for the benefit of our viewers who probably don't know our legal terms, what is the conspiracy? What is entailed under the conspiracy part of it?
Conspiracy is just as the English word suggests, where two people collude to commit a crime, to commit an offense. So in the case of conspiracy to commit homosexuality, maybe two people, if I could give an example, decide to go to a school and maybe promote homosexuality there. So in that case, there is a conspiracy by the two people to commit the offense.
The offense, okay.
Yes.
There has been an outcry from the public, especially the human rights activists and people who are interested in drafting laws. Some people have said that the bill is confusing two things. One, the acts of homosexuality, and some people are misunderstanding it to also mean pedophilia. Could you explain that difference?
Okay, the difference under the law is that the offense of homosexuality is clearly defined, and it has to do with, if I may be graphic, it has to do with the penetration of this of having the same sex. It's same sex, sex, and it includes penetration.
Yes,
but that is aggravated when it becomes pedophilia, according to the Act.
So, on two adults, that is homosexuality.
Yes.
And then on a child, that is aggravated.
Yes, aggravated
homosexuality.
Yes.
Okay. And the punishments are, of course, they're different.
Yes.
Okay. We had gotten to a point of realizing how harsh the sentences are, how strict the rules are in the new bill. And now there's also a few people that are concerned, human rights activists and even the general public, on whether it is actually a constitutional, is it in line with our constitution as a country? What do you think?
Yes, human rights are universally recognized.
Yes.
Now, in our case, human rights were introduced here by law, by international law. And that is how we get our Chapter 3 of the Constitution.
Chapter 4, yes.
Chapter 4, sorry,
Yes.
of the Constitution. It is acquired through international law. And that is what gives us the Bill of Rights.
Yes.
But as you well know, the international community is not all, it is not all agreed that homosexuality is a human right. Most of the major international human rights organizations recognize it as a human right. But not every country acknowledges it as a human right.
Okay.
So in Uganda, on whether it is a human right or not, I don't think it is recognized as a human right under our constitution.
But the Bill of Rights then talks about non-discrimination on race, on color, on sex, and I think that homosexuality should be among those things of what you shouldn't be discriminated from, as what you appear, as what you believe in, as how you worship. And don't you think then it tampers with the Bill of Rights?
Now it depends. That's why I started from the international perspective. It depends on where you stand in the international perspective.
Yes.
Because some people believe that sexuality is actually a human right. Sexual orientation is a human right. Others do not. So in our constitution, sexual orientation is not really mentioned.
It is not mentioned.
Yes. So it depends on how you look at it and from what perspective you look at it. Yes.
So by the laws of Uganda, we cannot say that it is against human rights, since our constitution is silent on sexual orientation.
Yes. It would have to either be amended or be interpreted in such a way that it is inclusive.
Yes.
Of sexual
orientation. Yes. Oh, that's good. That's it's quite elaborate. So our Attorney General and the DPP have been quoted saying that this bill will be redundant if it's passed into law. What's your take on that?
Yes and no. Yes, because there were certain provisions in the law that were already providing for these offenses. In certain cases, for example, there were offenses that were prescribed under unnatural offenses.
Yes.
In the law. There were several other offenses that were prescribed in the penal code that deal with homosexuality. But you also have to look at it from the point of view of the legislators, what they were trying to do. I think what politically prompted this bill was the feeling that there is a promotion of homosexuality
in the country.
So they sought to cure that and thought that with a new law they could do that more effectively, which is also true because some of the offenses that have to do with publication and promotion of homosexual material are nowhere in the penal code.
Yes, that's true.
So I would still say yes and no, depending on where you stand.
On where you stand. So, Council, there are some parts of the law that the bill is supposed to be helping to cure. Maybe some parts of the law that were not touching on issues of homosexuality, that the bill is supposed to help to cure. Are there those proponents? And if there are, could you help us to understand them better?
Yes, Rebecca. Now, the existing law, which is the Penal Code Act, had certain offences which these members of parliament, in their wisdom, thought were not really suited to the offences. So, for example, the offence of homosexuality was carried under a whole offence of unnatural acts. Yes. So they thought they needed to create a law which would target specifically homosexuality. Yes. This law, this new anti-homosexuality act bill, it seeks to go even further and provide for certain offences like promotion of homosexuality, which was non-existent in the law. There has also been a new offense created for running brothels in which homosexual activity is practiced.
Yes.
Another offense has been created of procuring a same-sex marriage.
Yes. Procuring a
same-sex marriage. Yes. Those are some of the new offenses that have been created. And of course, also add conspiracy and child-to-child homosexual activity, which have been criminalized also.
Yes.
The only question I think that is controversial is whether this law should have been enacted or the law that is already there should have been amended.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the law. That is.
What are the new punishments that the bill brings out?
Is there is a punishment for aggravated defilement, which has caused quite a stir. It was originally proposed to be 10 years.
Yes.
And it's now the death penalty.
So if you're looking at the new things that have been introduced in the bill that were not in the penal code, then it cannot actually be said to be a redundant law. Yes. So finally, what is your overview, general overview, your take on the bill? As a lawyer who has been in practice for a while, just give us your general overview.
Well, my overview is I don't think that sexuality should actually be criminalized. That would be my first stand. There has to be a limit on the effect of religion and morality on law. There has to be certain limits have to be set. So as a lawyer, I would say that I'm a bit uncomfortable with the criminalization of homosexuality, especially on grounds of morality and religion.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. I think you're one of the very few in Uganda who are bold enough to mention that. And I thank you for being very elaborate, and thank you for joining us today. It's been quite a pleasure to host you. Okay. To our dear viewers, thank you so much for joining us on The Outlook. It's been a pleasure hosting you as usual. I hope you've learned one or two things about the bill and what to avoid, the do's and the don'ts around this homosexuality issue. Until next time, please look out for our next episode. Thank you so much.